Hi and welcome to Parks. Today we are in Parque de Atracciones de Madrid. Now, what is this park? Well, it's a weird one because it's in the city center, and first of all, it's a proper park, kind of Alton Tower vibes, where lots of people are having picnics and having a good time, and it's definitely green. There is definitely a lot going on in terms of landscaping, but also it's a really nicely themed park. What's on offer? There are two areas for kids. One is a Nickelodeon one, and another one is not really branded with any IP. Really nice for kids. Like junior coasters, flat rides, water rides for kids, really nicely themed areas and a lot for the youngers to enjoy. But it's also a nice park in terms of lineup. It's got a kind of 360 degrees lineup for everyone. But the funny part of this is that the coasters are kind of familiar typologies of coasters, but they're not made by the manufacturer that you would expect. What am I saying? So, for example, this one is the one that you're gonna encounter as the first one. It's really close to the entrance. It's a mine train, and you will say, well, the comma. No, mine train goes lower. And it's just a different manufacturer, but they're all like that. It's a really nice layout, nicely themed, and also it's got nice interaction with this one, which is a water ride. And the park offers quite a lot of water rides. So there is this one, and then you got the Jungle Rapids and the Log Flume, in theory. And it's really nice to see them because, of course, Madrid, the weather tends to be hot all year round, but generally speaking, in summer can go up to 40, 45 degrees. So the fact that, of course, they are pushing quite a lot in terms of water rides and they are all wet, it's nice to have. But generally speaking, the lineup, apart from the kids' areas, is made of coasters, is made of water rides, and is made of flat rides, and there is quite a lot. The next one is the usual, let's say, Mack Wild Mouse, which I think in this version is the one for funfair, so it can actually be knocked down and transported somewhere else. No idea why it's this one. It's a kind of typical layout, not far away from Chessington's one. Then there are a drop tower and a top spin, which after having done the ones in Warner, there are actually some fresh air, right? Because those are really intense and really nice. The cycle of the top spin is actually one of the best one I ever tried. But then let's go on the coaster. Abismo. This one is a Marrer extreme coaster, which is a kind of a weird one. There are not so many in the world and not at all in Europe, so it's a really one to try here. It's got this vertical chain lift and then a never-ending hanging time where you are completely upside down. And then the rest of the track is really smooth and there is plenty of airtime and inversions. It's not a long ride, but it's really, really nice. The problem is that it's just one train, capacity is really, really low, and given that the operations in this park are quite pathetic, and we're gonna go back on this topic later, the problem of this coaster is that it's got always like at least 2 hours of queue. But it's really worth trying it at least once. Then we got other, flat rides, more standard. Some of them are also quite old because the park has been there for a while. Of course, you're gonna find a disco coaster of Zamperla, why not? And lots of other, flat rides on offer. Then going on with the coasters, here is another one. This one looks like the Vekoma SLC. It's not. This is an Intamin, and the difference with the Vekoma SLC is actually it's really smooth. It's much more comfortable in terms of rides, and it's got this kind of weird layout, which makes it really look like different, even if in reality it's kind of an SLC. The problem with this park is that lots of rides are closed. They're closed for heavy maintenance, like they're completely knocked down into bits, and we're talking about flat rides, we're talking about water rides, we're talking about a coaster as well. So unfortunately, lots of rides are not available. The ones that are available are heavily compromised by two things. First, the operations are are super slow and disorganized. But also they're always running just with one train. Reason being that probably the second train has been knocked down into pieces and used as spare parts. So the park is kind of suffering its own destiny, if you want. The problem being that if you start not having like this one, which is a massive, it's called Tarantula, it's a massive spinning coaster, and you start not having like the log flume and the other things are not available, then of course the few rides open, which are already struggling for having one train and slow operations, are just exploding. So you're gonna find queues more than 1 hour, 2 hours for rides which are not even worth it, like this one, Vertigo. Is the Mack Wise Mouse, which is like, yeah, it's a kind of a common one. So the problem of this park is that unfortunately it becomes not really a nice experience. So what is my verdict? Is it worth a visit? I would say no. Reason being, apart from the kids area, which are really nice, and few weird or strange, not usual, not common coasters, the whole experience is heavily compromised by operations and by the lack of maintenance or by not having all the trains up and running. I think you should try at least once in your life those two coasters, Abismo and Tornado, because they're just weird and really nice. But if you have one day only in Madrid, then go to the Warner Park, no brainer. If you want to visit this one, heavily advised, avoid weekends at any cost. Don't go on a weekend, it's just a nightmare. Probably during the week you might end up having less queues and you can enjoy, as said, Tornado and Abismo, which are definitely worth a ride in your life at least. I hope you enjoyed the video and as usual, please subscribe.